Hey there, my friend. What number are we on? We are on number six. 6 of 9. This seems to be taking forever. I'm trying to do one a day. I guess I could do all of them in one video and I could throw this book away finally. This book, I don't like it. I found it on the free card at the local library. I thought, what the heck? It sounds like the kind of book that I would like to read, A Guide to Living in Balance by Frank S. Caprio, MD. It turned out to be a very, very strange, kind of disturbing read. But one chapter stood out to me, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. If it didn't hit me as hard as it did, I wouldn't be sharing it with you and wasting all this time on it. It's not wasted time, but you know what I mean. So let's get to number 6. These are 9 points that he makes, 9 things we can do to help ward off and avoid nervous fatigue. This was written kind of old school psychological terminology. We don't necessarily call it nervous fatigue anymore. It's what we would experience today as burnout. I don't know that that's a term that was around back in the 70s and 60s. I'm sure it was, but it's not something that was used the way we use it today. Burnout is a very common term today. I don't think it was back then. So they called it nervous fatigue, but it's essentially the same thing he's describing. So we went over the first 5 in 5 other videos. We're going to get to number 6 now. Just kind of a recap in case you need to be reminded. Number 1 was do not exceed your fatigue limit. 2 was observe moderation in everything you do. 3 was develop the art of relaxation. Number 4, learn to control your emotions. 5, in the last video, sidetrack your fears. And now number 6 is kind of short and sweet. Get your proper rest and sleep, right? Moms have been telling us this for a long, long time, and it's true. We need our rest. We need to rest, if not sleep, and we need a good night's sleep. Irregular living, improper food, loss of sleep, lack of exercise, absence of recreational outlets all help to bring about a state of chronic tiredness, writes Dr. Caprio. If you suffer from insomnia, why not find the cause and eliminate it? Wakefulness favors the development of nervous fatigue. The average individual requires 8 hours of sleep. Rest and sleep are nature's way of restoring energy. Don't cheat yourself. It's too expensive. Now, of course, we know things today that we didn't know back then, perhaps regarding insomnia. If it were only that easy, my wife suffers from insomnia, as millions of people do. And it's not as easy as just telling anybody, why don't you just find the root of your insomnia? It's insulting to tell I don't even know if you can say insomniac. That sounds like almost like maniac or something. I don't even know. Do you call people insomniacs anymore? When I was a kid, you call people insomniacs. I don't know if that's PC these days or not, but you don't just go up to somebody with insomnia and say, why don't you just find the root cause of it? Just get to the bottom of it already. It's like, yeah, thanks, Sherlock. I think I want to get to the bottom of it more than anybody. Insomnia is brutal. I get it maybe twice a year. Some people get it every night, like it's chronic for them. So it's not always that easy. Another reason why I don't like this book overall, it seems to overly simplify many things that are very complicated psychological things going on with people. But he is correct that we need to rest. We need to recharge our energy. And every day we wake up with a certain amount of energy that we have for the day. It's not an infinite amount of energy. Even the most energetic people will eventually run out of fuel for the mind, fuel for the body. You're going to run out of fuel at some point. Some people can go a lot longer than others. I recently did, a few months ago, sometime last year, I did an overtime shift. My shifts are 12 hours long, so overtime is 4 additional hours. So I did a 16-hour shift, came home, normally stay up on Sundays. Sometimes I'll take like a 2-hour nap because I don't work Sunday night. But I was called in to do a 12-hour shift Sunday night with no sleep. So I was essentially awake at the end of that whole thing about 42 hours. That's the longest I've ever been up in my life. And I was able to function. I did better than I thought I could. Some kind of adrenaline or something kicked in and I made it through the shift and even got home and didn't go right to bed even after being awake for 42 hours. So the mind and body can be very strange, but the bottom line is we can't go indefinitely without resting and recharging and sleeping. We need these things to function properly. We need it for good health. We'll die eventually if we don't get sleep. We'll start hallucinating. We'll jump out a window. We'll do something stupid. You need to sleep. And the whole 8 hours thing, I think, is debatable. I've had some nights sleep where I sleep 4 hours and feel fantastic. And even my Apple Watch and all my sleep apps and everything tell me that it was a solid 4 hours of sleep. And then I've had 8 hours of sleep that are very choppy and not restful at all. So it used to be when I was a kid, like you slept 8 hours. But yeah, hey, Mom, I don't feel rested at all, but I could sleep for 3 or 4 hours one night and feel totally ready to go. So it has to do with your sleep cycles, your circadian rhythm, how deep sleep you get into. I have sleep apnea, which I might address in future videos maybe. But that was really depriving me of deep sleep. And I have periodic limb movement as well that I control with medication. It's a very easy medication to take. And it's gone with that. But without it, I'm just kicking and kicking. Not only does it keep my wife awake all night, but it kept me from reaching that deep level of sleep. If I looked at my analytics, before I took the medicine, I was getting no deep sleep. I was never hitting REM sleep. I was just a wreck because even though watch-wise, clock-wise, I was sleeping 8 hours a night, I was getting virtually no deep and restful stages of sleep. So get your proper rest and sleep. That's step number 6, tip number 6, strategy number 6, if you will. Out of the 9 outlined in chapter 10, titled Nervous Fatigue, from the book that fell apart the minute I got it home, A Guide to Living in Balance by Dr. Frank Caprio. I don't recommend the book. I'm actually, when I finish the 9 points, I'm going to burn it, dispose of it, recycle it or something, but I'm not going to do anything else with this book other than just get rid of it because I don't like it. But that chapter could have been its own little mini novella or something. It's a really, really good chapter. We'll get to point number 7 in the next video. Thanks a lot. If you like this sort of thing, I'm into it, obviously. If you are too, check out my podcast, Hughs from the Heart, at hughesfromtheheart.com. Thanks a lot.